Hello everybody, this is Ryan over at High Carb Generator. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be called I Quit, I'm No Longer on My Weight Loss Journey. It's kind of not true, but kind of true. I have realized a few things that I'm going to go over here in this video. And all right, I want to, this video comes from some questions that I've been getting from people about how much should they exercise or just different questions. So the reason I am not focusing on weight loss journey is because it has come very apparent to me in the last few days that I'm not in as good a shape as I thought I was. And the stress from this past like 3 years, if you don't know my story, and I'm sure everybody can relate to this, has similar stories. So I got injured at the post office, which is the job that I had for years. And I had to have my ankle replaced because of it. They weren't paying. They somehow got out of workman's comp. They, I swear I'll get to a point here, and I'm not going to give a long backstory, but they basically got out of paying me anything for this. No workman's comp, no nothing right now. So now it's in a huge labor dispute. I'm going to see what happens with that. I had to have my ankle replaced. Couldn't walk. Couldn't really provide for myself, but my eBay was still running, so that still was selling. That was actually paying the bills because that was during 2020. We all know it had happened during 2020. Nobody could work, but my eBay was like crazy. So I couldn't stand, I couldn't walk, I couldn't get down here where my little warehouse was. So she was bringing the stuff up there. I was packing it. She was mailing it, and we were making enough money to get by. And then after that, I couldn't really walk, even though I was like recovered enough to go walk. So I couldn't really walk. So I couldn't really do all the stuff that I normally do. So I've been piecing this life together. And then on top of the fact that my 16-year relationship had been ending. So the cortisol level, I mean, there's just one thing after another. And now, like in the last video, I mentioned something about my cat and having to put her down. Everybody thought I'm just having a cat put down. I don't know why. I've mentioned this in other videos. She used to be like a 15, 16 pound cat. She's really sick now. She's like 4.5 pounds. Some days she's like today, she's not eating. She's just at the end of, she's just at the end. And so it's just so much stress. And so I'm going to focus on health and getting my cortisol lower. I'm actually going to pop a video in here about cortisol that I already did. So here we go.
A lot of people are afraid of sugar because it's going to make me gain weight. It is a fairly often observed fact that people who have stressed themselves chronically and then they switch to like a higher sugar diet, they may initially put on weight. However,
there you go.
Recent studies have discovered that this is not due to the sugar. It's due to the fact that chronically restricting sugar upregulates the enzyme that produces cortisol. And cortisol is known now as the primary driver of especially the mid-body obesity, the visceral fat. And there's now human studies with cortisol blockers showing that it can actually cure diabetes type 2 and lead to sustained weight loss without any caloric reduction, change in exercise habits, or change in the macronutrients. In fact, this study showed that basically just by blocking cortisol, you can continue to eat the same junk food that you always did, and you will actually lose the weight, which speaks very strongly to the fact that, to the hypothesis, supports the hypothesis that weight gain is an endocrine problem. It's not a lack of exercise, or it's not necessarily simply, packing on more calories. I mean,
okay. So they found that cortisol is the main reason that people don't lose weight. You got to get the cortisol down. Now, I know I think I played it this long. I'm doing this without knowing how much I'm playing, but they did find that if they gave somebody a pill or whatever it is that blocked cortisol or kept cortisol really low, people were losing weight like crazy. It didn't even matter what they ate. Now, I'm not saying to go get a cortisol blocker and live off Twinkies, but what I'm saying is the higher the cortisol, the more stress you're under. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to my situation, maybe not 100%, maybe not having your ankle replaced. But there are stressful situations that we live through, especially since, everything that's happened a few years ago. And I think getting back to health is more important. Now, I know I've made videos about this in the past, but me focusing on weight loss and you focusing on weight loss and all of us focusing on weight loss is actually raising your cortisol. So if you just find stuff that you like to do, and I know I've mentioned videos like this before, but some of my, it's helped me to get through some of the stuff I've been going through just to make weight loss videos. And I know people really need this stuff. So I've been making them. But the more you talk about this stuff, the more you live this stuff, the more you think about this stuff, and the more it kind of gets on your, just repetitive. You just think about it all the time. So what I think everybody should do is just focus on health, get yourself back to a healthy place, use the diet that I've been talking about, the Durianrider talks about, John McDougall talks about, to get yourself the foundation of food. Make sure you're hydrated, drink a lot of water. I swear I go through 3 of these a day. That's a gallon of water. You might not need that. You probably don't need that much, but just make sure you're peeing clear, get the diet in check. I made plenty of videos about that. And just focus on health because everybody is so focused on bikini body and that season's over anyways. So you really take this time. If you're living in the north, bikini body season is basically over because nobody, at least here, goes to the beach after Labor Day. It's crazy. I'm going to start going to the beach like crazy now because nobody else goes. And it's wonderful to go to the beach when nobody else is going. So that season is over. Concentrate on your health. And by the time beach season comes around next year, you'll be mostly or completely where you want to be. And also exercise, right? Do not overexert yourself. If it takes you 7 days to get recovered from the last exercise session, you have done absolutely nothing because it's going to take you 7 days to recover from that. And if you keep piling onto that, if you keep doing what's making you exhausted, you're just doubling, quadrupling, whatever the effect of the cortisol and all the stress. And it's just going to keep going until you cannot heal from it. And then you are injured or whatever happens to you. So make sure that you are starting off at a baseline, even like Cellerciser I got right next to me. If that's your thing and you've never done it before, start off with 2 minutes a day, 3 minutes a day. Then add like 10% next week and just very slowly. There's no point in overexerting yourself with this stuff because at some point you're going to get injured or something is going to happen and you're going to be off for a while and you're going to start off at square one anyways again. So people's egos get involved. If you can only walk to the end of the block and back, that's all you can do. Then add 10% to that, or maybe even less, 5-10% to that the next week, and just keep going from there. But I have noticed that I never have this happen, but I've been getting winded going upstairs, and I'm like, what is going on? So I have got, and all of us really should focus on health because as we've seen this last few years, if you don't have health, you don't have a whole lot going on for you. So focus on health. Focus on exercise is extremely important. This dude, Pritikin, dedicated basically half the book. I know a lot of people bought this, so you're probably going to be reading this, but almost half of his knowledge base in this is walking or jogging. It's extremely important. We are beings that are supposed to move. We are not beings that are supposed to be sedentary. So keep that in mind. I know like Dan the Man said we should exercise 8 hours a day. I don't know who is doing that, but like 1 or 2 hours at some point wouldn't be bad, but make sure you actually let yourself get there. Don't overexert yourself. This is about health, not being a professional athlete. And if you look at professional athletes after they're done, most of them are in terrible condition. So you don't want to be that. Most of them are fat. Most of them have health issues. It's just don't have the professional cyclist in mind when you're going cycling. You are not a professional cyclist. You're not getting paid to do this. This is not something you're getting paid to do. Don't kill yourself over it. You're not getting paid for it. You're never probably going to, if you were going to get paid for it, you would not probably be watching this video. So just keep that in mind. You're not getting paid to go walk 10 miles if you can only walk half a mile. So keep this in mind. that is the video. Comments, questions down below. I just, my health, I feel like, has gone down, and I can, from some of the comments that I get, I can feel that other people are in that situation. So I just felt like I needed to make this video, and that's it. Comments, questions down below. Let us know what your exercise program is or whatever. Walking is probably the best one out there, but if you got like a nice rebounder or a nice bike, that is really good too. If you're extremely overweight, I would start off with cycling. That's just me, but obviously don't go gangbusters. Make sure that you can actually do what you are. If you are tired after your activity, you did too much. If you are energized after your activity, that's exactly where you want to be. If you get off a bike ride and you're like, I could go for another however many miles, or I can't wait to do this again tomorrow, that is exactly where you want to be. If you get off, one of my yoga instructors used to say, before I really can't do it as good as I used to, but one of my yoga instructors said, if you're tired after yoga, you did too much. You just did too much. Treat your body kindly. This is not a beat yourself up session. This is a get your health back in order session. Anyways, that is my video. Hopefully you liked it. If you did, give it a like, subscribe, share this video if you do anybody any good. Really helps the channel. And I will talk to you next time.